Hi, my name is Jalen Walsh, and I'm a student and curator, and I'm here today with the amazing, lovely JooYoung Choi, and we're going to talk about her practice. So please introduce yourself.
Okay, well, hi, my name is JooYoung Choi, and yes, I'm an artist here in Houston, Texas. Let me see, I guess you would call my work multidisciplinary because I work with puppets, and I also do video art, installation, painting, narrative, performance pieces, just a lot of interactive work. So kind of a little bit of everything, but it's all based on one narrative concept. When I was in grad school, I developed the concept further and started writing about, well, what is this world? What is it called? And then realizing that if you have a narrative concept that's very strong, it can become the foundation to be able to use all different types of media. So you're kind of following this rule book and gives you parameters, and then you can try your hand at all different types of mediums that way.
So the universe that you're speaking of, that all of your characters sort of live and thrive within, is called the cosmic womb. Can you talk about sort of where that idea came from and how it has become this massive thing in which all of these expansive characters live?
Yeah, well, I think at first when I was coming up with a name for it, I had learned about a book by Nancy Verrier called The Primal Wound, and it was talking about this wound that is that she believed children who are given away for adoption, that it's deep within them from the moment that they're separated from their birth family. And I started to realize for myself that being brave enough to talk about the primal wound, or the idea that there is this part of you that struggles with maybe feeling like from the get-go that maybe you weren't wanted, or that you were abandoned by the universe or a higher power. That's a brave thing to be able to do. And when you're going on that journey, you can't just have a primal wound, you need something else. So that's where I came up with the idea of a cosmic womb, and the idea of where do we go after we're born to heal and grow and have a safe space where we can explore our feelings. And I realized that narratives are such an amazing way for people to process their feelings. As children, we read books hopefully with our parents or our guardians, and we're able to experience all these emotions such as fear and anger through these characters, and then have the guidance and support of these storytellers to help us get through those feelings. So then when we're adults or even young people who are faced with these life-changing issues, we can use those emotional responses we gain through storytelling to maturely handle real-world situations. And so I wanted to create kind of, in X-Men they have the danger room where they're able to practice their skills with their mutant powers. I think the cosmic womb is kind of a place to do that too. Yeah.
You are in this moment where you are exploring narratives about women of color and their identities, and of course you're still doing it through these different characters. Can you talk a little bit about that project or what that means to you?
Yeah. I mean, I think when I first started making my video art, I just focused on what are the things that I want to, my younger self would have wanted to see. And I've always been a huge fan of Jim Henson and the whole Sesame Street concept, Muppets. But one thing I always found really uncanny was that of all the adults on the show when I was a kid, there were no East Asian women. No one who looked like me that was an adult. But you would see little girls on the show. So I always wondered, like, do they have to leave when they get older? Like, no grown-up Asian women allowed here, because there weren't any, but you would see the children. So I'm like, who are their parents, or what? How does this all work? And so for the project, part of it was putting in time just to interview girls, women, and non-binary folks of color about the experiences of their childhood in visual media. And that has been just extremely moving. And also sharing the concept and story that I'm working on for a video art piece, taking their experiences and then asking them if they could go back in time and make that character that they wish that they had seen on the screen, just as I've done with my videos. What would the character look like? What powers would they have? What weaknesses? Do they have someone that they have to protect? Do they have family? Are they from Earth even? And all of those ideas are then being put together, and I'm making 5 new characters for the Cosmic Womb based on all the influences and ideas that people are sharing with me. And I think our youngest interviewee was maybe 6 years old. And so I had an amazing, super inspiring woman who can speak multiple languages and works for NASA come in, who is a superhero. So it has just been, high schoolers, just a spectrum of ages. So I'm super excited about the project, yeah.
Wow, I can't wait. So I think that it would be really fun if you introduced some of your friends to all of us.
Yeah.
So first, who am I holding?
Oh, well, this is Bernadette. And Bernadette used to live in Boston. She lived underneath the bleachers at Fenway Park until they reversed the curse. Because her power is that she can actually eat despair and process it into something good, like food for her to eat. So when everyone was upset, because I used to waitress over near Fenway Park, and you'd see people very grumpy after the games, I thought it'd be really funny to create this character who she'd just walk around and just pick up little bits of despair and eat them. And here is Put Put. Let's see here. And Put Put is a Muno Prince, which they look like octopuses, and he has eczema. And my husband actually does his voice, so I don't think I'm even gonna try to do his voice, but he is just a wonderful little character, which was inspired by my birth father. On the second time I visited, he wanted to do something special, so he got us a octopus to eat, and they boiled it at the table, and I just felt horrible, also because I don't really eat much seafood, and so I just felt like it was a waste, and they gave me a tray of M&Ms to eat while I watched this octopus boil to death in a big stew of kind of a kimchi jjigae. So I always had this feeling that I needed to do this octopus right. So this octopus looks a lot like that one. So I thought, since it's being resurrected and it was boiled to death, maybe it got dry skin, so it has eczema.
If you had to give a piece of advice to someone who is trying to create art about their own identity, because I feel like your work is very accessible, and it feels like maybe if you wanted to express your own feelings in this type of way, you could, what would your piece of advice be?
Oh, let's see. I would say that if you have a very unique and special identity, which we all have in one way or another, there are many things that other people will not understand about your journey. And if you are studying art in art school, sometimes teachers get tired, or they just can't see what you were seeing. So don't let that discourage you. Be a searcher of the people who you feel will be great mentors to you. I am so grateful to the teachers that first were given to me, and then after a while I started to realize that I needed to seek these people out. People who had similar visions, that were brave enough to use storytelling and identity in a way that I felt was empowering and very punk rock, very much their own vision and unapologetic about it. But it took some work to find those people, and I realized that I couldn't listen to every single person's feedback, because at the end of the day, I would just feel discouraged. So I'd say find the people who sing a similar heart song. Make space to learn from those who maybe come with opposing views, just because you never know what's sacred and important to you until someone asks you to take it away, or that it doesn't have value. But make sure that you spend enough time around people who feel like they know the same North Star that you're interested in, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, in the Cosmic Womb, the national motto is, "Have faith, for you have always been loved."
That's so sweet. Oh, wow.
And I think sometimes for art makers, sometimes we make art because maybe we have a very strange relationship with our enoughness, feeling like we are enough. And I think no matter what you make, it's the journey of creating it and that your worth does not come from one single painting or one piece of music or a video. It's about the person that you become through the process. And I think that's really important for artists and all people to have that feeling where you can just be loved for you. And then I think for artists, we make better work.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you for
you.
talking to me and introducing me to all of these amazing people.
Oh, well, thank you. I think they had a good time too.